Hey everyone, welcome back to Auto Review, your go-to channel for classic and modern car reviews. Today, we're diving into a fascinating piece of off-road history, the 1965 Mitsubishi Pajero. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's clarify something important. Although the Pajero name officially debuted in 1982, Mitsubishi developed prototypes and early concepts during the mid-60s that laid the foundation for what would become the Pajero. So, in this video, we're going to explore that early 1965 concept that previewed one of Japan's most legendary off-roaders. Starting with the exterior, the 1965 Pajero prototype had a rugged, utilitarian design that instantly gave off a military and expedition-ready vibe. This was an era when function dictated form, and the Pajero embraced that philosophy fully. The body was boxy and purposeful, with flat body panels and minimal curves. It featured a high ground clearance and short overhangs, making it ideal for navigating rough terrain. The front grille was simple, often with horizontal slats and circular headlights that gave it a no-nonsense personality. There were no flashy chrome accents or decorative elements, just raw, functional design. Steel bumpers, exposed hinges, and even external fuel canister holders were all part of the package. These design cues eventually influenced the first production Pajero in the 80s. Moving to the interior, the 1965 Pajero was bare bones but built for durability. There was no luxury to speak of, but that was the point. The dashboard was flat and simple, made from metal with a few utilitarian gauges and switches. Seating was functional, with vinyl-covered seats that could handle mud, water, and whatever else the outdoors threw at you. The cabin was roomy enough to seat 4 adults comfortably, with a lot of vertical headroom thanks to the tall roofline. Visibility was excellent, thanks to large windows and a nearly upright windshield. There were very few creature comforts, no air conditioning, no infotainment, and definitely no power windows, but what you did get was a cabin designed for adventure and resilience. Under the hood, the 1965 Pajero prototype wasn't about blistering speed or high horsepower. Early versions were equipped with a modest 2.0-liter 4-cylinder engine, producing around 90 to 100 horsepower. While that might sound underwhelming by today's standards, it was more than enough for the vehicle's purpose. The engine was mated to a 4-speed manual transmission, and more importantly, the Pajero featured a part-time 4-wheel drive system. This made it incredibly capable off-road, especially when paired with its lightweight body and robust suspension setup. The leaf spring suspension might have been stiff on pavement, but it performed admirably on dirt roads, rocky trails, and even through shallow water crossings. Performance-wise, the Pajero was never meant to compete on highways or city streets. Its true strength shined in the wild. It had excellent approach and departure angles, thanks to its high-riding chassis. The short wheelbase allowed it to make tight turns on narrow trails, and the 4WD system delivered dependable traction in mud, snow, or sand. Off-road purists appreciated how simple and mechanical the Pajero felt. No electronic aids, no driving modes, just raw, manual control. It required skill to drive, and in return, it offered unmatched reliability and toughness. Think of it as the Japanese answer to the Jeep or early Land Rover, less flashy, but just as competent. Now, let's talk about pricing. Back in 1965, this Pajero prototype wasn't something you could just walk into a dealership and buy. It was more of an experimental model used in limited government and military roles. If we were to estimate a price tag based on its spec and era, it would have likely cost around 300,000 to 400,000 yen in Japan at the time, which translates to approximately $1,000 to $1,300 USD in 1965 money. Adjusted for inflation today, that would be around $9,000 to $12,000 USD. But here's the kicker, finding one of these early models today is incredibly rare. If a genuine 1965 Pajero prototype or pre-production model were to come up for sale, it could fetch upwards of $30,000 to $50,000 or more among collectors, depending on condition and originality. These vehicles are not just rare, they're a tangible part of Mitsubishi's off-road legacy. To wrap things up, the 1965 Mitsubishi Pajero prototype was a symbol of rugged simplicity and mechanical dependability. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't luxurious, and it certainly wasn't fast. But it was built for a purpose, and it excelled at that purpose. It laid the groundwork for one of Mitsubishi's most successful and iconic nameplates. Whether you're a fan of vintage 4X4S or just love automotive history, the 1965 Pajero deserves a spot in your mental garage. Thanks for tuning into Auto Review. If you enjoyed this deep dive into a rare classic, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a review. Let me know in the comments which vintage vehicle you'd like to see featured next. Until next time, keep those engines running and the mud flying.